The satirical critique of capitalism within The Wolf of Wall Street. The Wolf of Wall Street follows Jordan Belfort through his rise to the top of the stockbroking game. From the naive new employee, pond scum in the hierarchy of his first firm, who politely declines a martini at lunch, to the debaucherous quaalude and sex addict that we see at the end of the film, who can't even walk to his own car. We journey through and experience animalistic, carnivalesque, office escapades, orgies, and dominatrixes, all wrapped up into a delightful package of grotesque excess, shown through the lens of the male gaze. Although the film plays on the vicarious enjoyment of an excessive lifestyle, beneath all the cocaine and prostitutes, we begin to find all the juicy satirical critique of the addictiveness of consumerism, what it means to be fulfilled in a capitalist society, and our position within the hierarchy ourselves. Which leads me on to my first point of Marx's theory of alienation, which Mark Hanna nicely sums up by saying, how else are you meant to do this job? Cocaine and hookers. Applying this theory to Belfort, his character becomes so disconnected from himself and unfulfilled as a result of his lifestyle that he has to be stimulated by something else instead. In this case, it's quaaludes and sex. This is shown visually through the camera angles used during his highs. The elliptical editing, filters, disorientating camera movement, and 12-second shutter physically manifests Belfort's internal disconnect. He cannot control his speech or movement. He is mentally and physically disconnected from himself. These angles also emphasize a lack of refinement or clarity. His material obsession with money and elevating himself to the highest tiers of capitalist society leave him alienated from his actual human needs and disorientated from trying to fulfill them with other substances. Money and capitalism is not what human beings need to be genuinely fulfilled. As Marx states, accumulation of wealth at one pole is therefore, at the same time, accumulation of misery. So how do we fit into this as an audience? Throughout the film, director Scorsese continually breaks the fourth wall, intending to evoke a deeper connection with the audience and to gain its trust, emphasizing how we believe we are equal to Belfort, that we can work to become like him within capitalist society, even though we are the ones being exploited. Breaking the fourth wall connects us as the audience to the film, but more specifically to Belfort himself. In this specific scene, we find ourselves talking to him as an equal, getting advice from him, and then even experiencing snorting a line of cocaine as if we were him through the camera lens. And although we are so close to him and he is so accessible to us through this lens, we are still kept at a distance, and we find ourselves following behind him in other scenes, or looking up at him as one of his other devotees, looking for validation and a glimpse into his lifestyle. However, in this scene, we find ourselves being zoomed in on the $100 bill, just to watch Belfort crumple it up and throw it away. The camera then follows the money, and we find ourselves looking at the money from the position of the bin, enforcing this idea that it feels like we're so close, we can taste the American dream, we're chasing money and we're chasing capitalism, following it into the bin as the people above us in the hierarchy toss it into nothingness, where it is implied that we're positioned through the perspective. The visual components of this scene satirizes material excess, but also reiterates how we're deluded by capitalism and the allure of it. We believe we can become the Jordan Belforts of the world, when in reality we're much closer to being the pond scum. Leading us to the ultimate question. Do we enjoy being exploited by capitalism? After following the journey of Belfort's excessive lifestyle through vicarious enjoyment and with little notice for his victims and his mediocre punishment, the internal message doesn't seem to be a moral one. Instead, Scorsese asks us to hold the mirror up to ourselves. In the final scene, Belfort is selling a seminar on how to sell, and we move with the camera lens from seat to seat in the audience, looking up at him as one of the many others grasping onto his every word. The camera angle then changes to a rise and pan to show the many others within the seminar, with a backlight behind them alluding to a theatre audience. We are now strategically positioned with a fourth wall that looks like ourselves, a reflection, a registering of the Lacanian mirror stage. A mirror rather than a wall, as if the purpose of breaking the wall was not for the film to become aware of the audience, but for the audience to become aware of itself. And with the shot being held for a few seconds longer than expected, we are forced to ask, is this us? Are we a part of the masses deluding themselves into chasing this capitalist dream while being exploited themselves, physically and mentally, in the belief that they can become a Belfort of the world, while feeding the capitalist system that disservices us by leaving us unfulfilled? Do we enjoy being exploited, or are we so disillusioned by the allure of the unattainable capitalist dream? Thank you for engaging with this analysis.